Good morning. It is so wonderful to see the building so full. My name is Elaine Gagliardi, and it is my privilege to serve as Dean of the University of Montana's Alexander Blewett III School of Law, and to welcome you to the law school's 115th hooding and commencement ceremony. Welcome. I want to especially thank Chief Justice Swanson and Commissioner Christian for joining us and taking part in our graduation exercises. Today, we honor the law class of 2026. We honor you for your diligent study of the law, for your demonstrated commitment to serving others, and for the energy you will devote to implementing and improving our system of justice and our world as you move forward. We have a tradition at the law school to give those who are leaving us a clap out. I would like to ask parents, spouses, children, family, faculty, and friends of the class of 2026 to please stand and join me in clapping out and congratulating our law graduates. Today, you move from 3Ls to Juris Doctorates and alumni of this great law school. And in doing so, you did not make this journey alone. Take a moment to look to your left and look to your right, to look in front of you and behind you, and to all those in this room who are here to be with you today, your family, partners, and friends. The journey from the beginning of 1L to the end of 3L year happened as part of a community where each member of the law class of 2026 contributed to make our school a more vibrant, caring, and compassionate place to live and learn. Thank you. Thank you for your energy and enthusiasm that you brought to honoring and reimagining our law school traditions that make us a community. Thank you for making those traditions yours and doing them your way. The law school and those who come after you will benefit from your kindnesses, ingenuity, and leadership that each of you has contributed. Your actions have defined our school as a place where we care. We care for our community, for justice, and for a world where future generations will thrive. Studies have shown that health and happiness depends on relationships and being part of a community. My Uncle Alex George, who was a graduate of this law school, would constantly remind me that in giving to my community, I would always receive more in return than I have given, and I have found that to be very true. The law class of 2026 and each of you have given a great deal of energy to make your law school a community that you are proud to be a part of. In return, this community has sustained you as you completed what some would call a difficult journey to the Juris Doctorate. The law school community and the journey of the members of the class of 2026 has also been enriched by the support and encouragement of each of you who have traveled here today to celebrate the achievements of these graduates. It is important for us to pause so that we may show you our appreciation, the appreciation for everyone in this room who has worked each day of the last 3 years alongside our graduates to support them. I ask the graduating class of 2026 to stand and express with your applause your gratitude to the family and friends who are here to wish you well today. At the beginning of today's ceremony, as we do for all events, I would like to read the law school's land acknowledgement. The law school is on the traditional lands of indigenous peoples, the Salish, Kasanka, and Gillespie peoples, as well as the Blackfeet, Nez Perce, Shoshone, Bannock, and Coeur d'Alene, had and continue to have a crucial presence in the area. We acknowledge the role the legal system has played in the removal of indigenous people from these lands, and through our commitment to education, service, and scholarship, strive to improve the quality of justice for future generations. Doing so demands respect for tribal sovereignty and indigenous cultures, as well as accountability to the needs and perspectives of indigenous peoples who, from time immemorial to the present until the end of time, protect and remain connected with this land on which we gather, live, learn, and work. One of our law school commencement ceremony traditions is an honor song to celebrate and recognize the accomplishments of today's law graduates. I am pleased to welcome Benji Headswift to the stage to perform the honor song. Please stand if you are able and remove your hats. Thank you for that tribute to honor the class of 2026. I would like to introduce our stage party, beginning at my far right, your far left. Our law registrar, Bob Eichert. Professor Constance Van Clay. Montana's Commissioner of Higher Education, Clay Christian. I was blinded by the light there. Between Professor Van Clay and Commissioner Christian, the Honorable Corey Swanson, Chief Justice of the Montana Supreme Court. Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Professor Browdy. Associate Dean of Students, Professor Craig Cowie. At this time, I invite Deans Browdy and Cowie to present the student awards.
From the beginning of their journey at the Alexander Blewett III School of Law until now, each member of the class of 2026 has explored the ever-forward movement of the law with the utmost intellectual curiosity and hard work. In doing so, they have demonstrated integrity of character and a commitment to compassionate service.
Today, we celebrate and express gratitude to each of these students for that hard work and commitment to your law school career, your classmates, the legal profession, this community, and the world outside this community. And yes, to caring for yourselves, your families, and for one another. You have made an indelible impact on this law school, and this place is, we are, better because of your presence here.
It is our honor to share with you today the names of those in the class of 2026 who have exemplified the characteristics that imbue the terms counselor and advocate with the noblest of purposes and intentions. As we read the names of the award recipients, we ask each recipient to please stand.
John P. Aker, a beloved graduate and law professor at the University of Montana, sadly died at the early age of 37. The John P. Aker Award was established by his classmates to recognize outstanding achievement. I am confident that Professor Aker would have been privileged to know and teach Matthew Bell.
The Edward A. Kremer Award was established by Alice Kremer in memory of her son Andrew Kremer and his father Edward Kremer. The Edward Kremer Award recognizes the best research paper in the field of environmental law. This year's award goes to Sadie Giles.
The Dean's Award is given each year by the Dean of the School of Law in recognition of outstanding student leadership. This year, we are pleased to recognize John Moorhead.
Norman Hansen was the founder and first editor-in-chief of the Montana Law Review. This award recognizes the best appellate brief in appellate advocacy. Lori Blumenthal.
Justin Miller was a member of the class of 1913. He was a member of the Solicitor General's office and a judge on what is now the DC Circuit, and he served for many years as the president of the National Association of Broadcasters. The Justin Miller Award recognizes outstanding leadership of the Montana Law Review, and this year it goes to Natalie Sermon.
Membership in the Order of Barristers recognizes outstanding achievement in appellate advocacy. This year's recipients, and I'll call you, please stand and stay standing. Lila Bennett, Taylor Powell, Sadie Giles, Alan Palmer, Anthony Fry, Shelby Copeland, Lori Blumenthal, Gilly Ellison, Michael Gruber.
The Exceptional Pro Bono Legal Services Award recognizes exceptional volunteer legal services to benefit those who lack access to adequate legal services. This year's award goes to Ty Cummings. The Emmett England Award recognizes a student who exemplifies dedication and commitment to the needs of low-income people. This year, the award goes to Marla Prothero.
The J. Martin Burke Award recognizes a student who shows dedication and excellence in completing the clinic requirement. This year's award goes to Kathy Grott.
The Clinical Legal Education Association Outstanding Students Award recognizes excellence in both the fieldwork and seminar components of the clinical legal education. And this year's award winners are Jesse Gomez and Anna Reilly.
The William S. Frost and Marilyn Smith Graduation Awards Maylin Smith Graduation Award recognize exceptional work in the Marjorie Hunter Brown Indian Law Clinic and a strong commitment to protecting and enhancing the rights of Indian people and tribes. This year's recipients are Shelby Copeland, Taylor McBurney, and Connor McCauley.
The Growth Mindset Award celebrates a student who demonstrated significant growth and competence in a clinical law placement. The award this year goes to McCall Burns.
The Outstanding Student Award of the Class of 2026 is nominated by members of their graduating class. Individuals nominated for this prestigious award exemplify good character, service to the legal community, service to the law school, and service to fellow students. This year, the award for Outstanding Law Student goes to Addie Slanger.
Fran Elgie was the first woman county attorney in Montana and a member of Jeanette Rankin's team of unapologetic feminists. When she passed away in 1991, the Montana Supreme Court issued a resolution crediting her with, quote, a legacy of spirited advocacy on behalf of women and ultimately on behalf of all humankind. Stated in her own words, men were my friends, but women were my cause. In recognition of a demonstrated commitment to human equality, and in this case, their support of and collaboration with each other in the furtherance of that commitment, the Fran LG Award this year goes to Hannah Green.
The For This and Future Generations Writing Award recognizes students with exceptional ability in written communications. This year's award goes to Brianna Martin.
The Intellectual Property Law Section Grad Award recognizes students who demonstrated interest and exceptional ability in the areas of intellectual property law. This year's award goes to Clint Connors.
The Edie McClure Memorial Award is dedicated in memory of Helena attorney Edie McClure, a staff attorney for the Montana Legislative Services Division, and it is awarded for academic excellence. This year's award goes to Candace Nice.
Please, everyone, join us in applause as we congratulate this year's award recipients. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Deans Browdy and Cowie. As we celebrate the achievements of today's graduates, I would like to acknowledge our faculty and staff who have guided them on the path to the success they have achieved today. The faculty and staff of the Blewett School of Law have been instrumental in transforming the students you entrusted to us 3 years ago into the graduates you see before you today. I would like the faculty and staff to please stand and for all of us to join me in thanking them for all the care they've taken and the time they've spent in getting our class of 2026 to today. The graduating class chooses a classmate to give the student address. The law class of 2026 nominated Clint Connors. Please join me in welcoming him to the stage.
Can you tell I folded? Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to unfold the speech for me. More like, here, help me out with the other. It's okay, that's okay. All right, well, hello, class of 2026. Thank you guys so much for coming here today to tick off one last action item and to celebrate your accomplishments. Faculty, admin, family, friends, everyone else. Thank you so much for coming to support us and for, just bearing with us these last 3 years. Now, I gotta be honest, guys, I didn't actually prepare a speech because I know I was flattered that you guys picked me, but I didn't even know where to start. So if you don't mind, I brought a professional speechwriter here with me today. Here's the professional speechwriter. Say hello, professional speechwriter. Hello! What's your name, professional speechwriter? My name's Scott. Scott, huh? We had a contracts professor named Scott. His name was Scott. Our contracts professor was named, do you have something in your eye? I think I do, actually, yeah. Eyelash or something. Anyway, well, thank you so much, Scott, for coming to help today. I really have no idea how to do this. Oh, sure you do. We just need a little guidance. Okay. Now, is there anything you absolutely want to make sure you include in your speech? Well, one of the ways that we like to unwind after a long week of law school was to go to the drag show, hosted by the Outlaws, and we do some karaoke. So I don't know, do you guys want to see some karaoke at some point today? All right, well, there you go. So can I do some karaoke? No, you can't do karaoke. Why not? Because this is a hooding ceremony, Clint. It is an event of refinement and dignity and class. Okay, how about this? Why don't you read a joke? You know, speeches have jokes, those lighten the mood. Why don't you read a joke? Okay, fine, I'll read a joke. Did you write this? Yeah, I did. I'm really proud of it. Okay. What do lawyers wear to court? Lawsuits. Ow! Sorry, my hand slipped. No, it didn't! Listen, okay, how about this? I'll just ask you some questions, and you use that to write the speech. Okay, I guess that'll work. All right, okay, so the first question is, what is your biggest takeaway from law school? Sorry, that's the second question. I'm getting ahead of myself. Scott, come on, put it together. Okay, first question. What do you and your classmates remember from the first day of law school? And you can put me down while you want. If you talk, I'll take notes. Gee, thanks. Well, I'd say we were scared, but to be honest, that doesn't seem like the right word. Bewildered? Nah, that's not right either. I don't even know if there's a word for it, because it wasn't just a scary world we were entering or a bewildering one. It was an entirely different kind of world altogether, an entirely new way of thinking. It was like learning a brand new language no one in the world had ever heard of before. One day, we were anxiously opening our emails to see if we passed the LSAT, and the next day, we were learning about things like briefs, the dog bite statute, hearsay, the dog bite statute, attorney-client privilege, the dog bite statute, 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 the dog bite statute. Sorry, we just talked about the dog bite statute a lot. We were uncertain, but we were determined. And we weren't alone. We had some of the most brilliant professors of our time guiding us along the way, and some of the loudest cheerleaders of our time serving as our admin. Let's give them one more. For 3 years, we would spend our weeks reading, studying, crying, quimbying, taking a break for a football game or a special event like the smoker, passing out, waking up, maybe showering if we had time, and doing it all over again. It wasn't easy, but after 3 years of trial and error, and going through every challenge this new world called the legal system threw at us, I can honestly now say we still have no idea what we're doing. But, you know, hey, we'll get by. Okay, Scott, how am I doing so far? Oh, you're doing good. You're doing good. That'll do okay. I can work with that. Okay, but I know you didn't like the jokes, but this is still awful serious. We need something to lighten the mood. So here, pull my finger. What happened to class and refinement? No, this is a subversion of the genre. Here, just pull my finger. Okay, I guess I'll pull. What did you do to me? I don't know. What did I do to you? You dislocated my arm, you nitwit! Well, I'm sorry, you have such, tiny baby arms. You dirty, no-good, rotten contract breaker! Wow, this is a little bit of deja vu, I guess. Listen, Scott, this is all so silly. Can't I just do some karaoke? No! No. You know, our Scott used to do that all the time, too. Well, did your Scott used to do this? No, maybe. I don't know. I didn't always pay attention. I guess he could have. Maybe he wanted to. I don't know. Look, let's just go back to the questions. Okay, so second question that I asked the first time by mistake. What is going to be your biggest takeaway from law school? And you can put me back down again if you want. You can put me back down again if you want. Well, I think what I'll always remember is the idea that the law is neutral. As a concept, I mean. It's a neutral force, and its neutrality sticks out like a sore thumb because it is the most powerful kind of neutrality in existence. It can be used for good, or it can be used for evil. It can make the world so much better, or it can make it so much worse. It can save humanity, or it can destroy it. And I know this is a lot to think about, especially considering how quickly the legal landscape is changing. We hear so much about how precedent is being turned on its head, if not outright discarded. or how AI will dominate the workforce. But with all of this chaos should remind everyone here is that the neutral force of the law needs us. It needs brave, compassionate, crazy enough to go to law school people who know all about this neutral force called the law. How it works, how it doesn't work, when to use it, and when to throw it out. And I've lost my place. Should have bolded this. All right, and if you don't think you're up to the task, trust me, you are. You have made it through 3 years of nonstop reading and writing. You've made it through months upon months of balancing work in school with clinics, student groups, law reviews, moot court. You've made it through 2 to 3 classes taught by Craig Cowie, for Pete's sake. If you can do that, you can do anything. And I also know you can do it because, well, when you're stuck together in the same building for 3 years, you really get to know the people there. And having gotten to know all of you, I can safely say that you are some of the best human beings I have ever met. I think I speak for everyone sitting below me when I say that one of the hardest parts about saying goodbye to law school is the fact that we're not going to be able to see each other every day. We're not going to be able to learn, laugh, and hug it out together every day. And we're not going to be able to grow up together every day. I may be done with school, but I'm not done growing up. I'm still that lost, weird kid from Hillcrest Elementary, and I'm not going to have you guys to help me grow up anymore. Awkward page turn. But I am forever going to carry the memories of this great feat we accomplished together and the joys we found along the way. All I ask in return is you keep being the amazing people you are long after you leave this room, and keep building communities like the one we've been building since 2023. Because communities are why we have the law in the first place. Because we, as a species, decided that we can only thrive together. The world is in a really, really dark place right now. But if we can make it anything like in the community in this room, then I'm not ready to give up on it just yet. All right, Scott, was that good? Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll work fine. Okay, so last question I have, and then I'll be finished writing your speech. Okay, what's the question? Where's your wallet? What do you mean, where's my wallet? Don't take my wallet, don't take my... That is not my wallet. Okay. What a ripoff. He didn't even leave a whole speech. He just left some notes. I guess I'll read those. All right, here's the notes to the big speech that's gonna sum up what we're going through. Unbelievable. Here we go. I am unwritten. Can't read my mind. I'm undefined. I'm just beginning. The pen's in my hand. Ending unplanned. Wait a minute. Staring at the blank page before you. Open up the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions. Everyone help me finish this speech. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Treat yourself, I think, words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today ends where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. Congratulations, class of 2026. I love you guys. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you, Clint. A moment we'll always remember as faculty. It is my privilege to introduce as a speaker for today's ceremony, Chief Justice of the Montana Supreme Court, the Honorable Corey Swanson. It is truly an honor to welcome Justice Swanson. He is an epitome of what it means to be a public servant, something we as lawyers all strive to do. He has served and continues to serve to protect our freedoms and to honor the rule of law. Chief Justice Swanson grew up on Montana's High Line, attended Montana State University, I thought about saying that or not, and Carroll College as an undergraduate, and attended the great law school at the University of Montana School of Law, graduating with honors. He has served in the executive, legislative, and now the judicial branches of government. He served as Deputy Attorney General for Montana's Department of Justice, as Broadwater County Attorney, and since 2024, as Chief Justice of the Montana Supreme Court. Beyond his legal career, Chief Justice Swanson has served nearly 3 decades in the Montana Army National Guard, deploying multiple times to the Middle East and retiring at the rank of colonel. It is an honor for our law school to welcome Chief Justice Swanson as our 2026 graduation speaker. Please join me in giving him a warm welcome.
Well, thank you students for inviting me to come speak. This is an amazing culmination of 3 years of hard work and learning a lot, being brilliant, and occasionally winging it and getting lucky and getting by. I sat in your seat 22 years ago. I had a graduation speaker. I don't know who it was, and have no idea what they said. So my goal was to be memorable, but I think the memory of today's already been made. So now I'm just going to try to not be so bad that it's memorable for the other. My wife Julie is somewhere in the audience, and she's thrilled to hear that I am now retired from the National Guard, because I'm not actually quite retired yet. It's like the mafia, you just can't ever get out, but I'm moving toward it. But I want to briefly address you on not so much really great words of wisdom, because I think you have an amazing faculty and a lot of friends and supporters and families that are all here that are going to give you more wisdom than I can give you. But maybe what I can give you are some lessons learned the hard way that I had in life, and that you'll go out and you'll make plenty of your own mistakes, but maybe you can not repeat some of mine, and that might be beneficial to you. Because the great question, now that you are about to be a Juris Doctor, the great question is, now what? Where are we going? What are we doing? Well, I snuck into the end of your smoker a while ago and watched the video at the end. So I saw a lot of you, with the signs of what you're going to be doing and dancing. And I did see the joke where the punchline for every joke is Craig Cowie. And I wasn't quite sure what that meant, but everyone got a laugh out of it, so I'm sure it was good. So the question is, what next for all of you? Because you've accomplished something amazing. I mean, you've not only the undergraduate, but the law school. I didn't really even study until I got to law school. I thought I had studied. I thought I had read a lot. I thought I'd done a lot of homework, and then I got to law school and it took over my life. So you've probably all been through that same experience. And so the question is, what do you do with this amazing education and capability that you've been given? And not just that you've been given, that you've earned. You've earned it. If you stop now and you go live in a van down by the river for the next 20 years, your story will be a story of great potential that was unrealized. But if you take this skill, you take this capability, and you serve other people, serve your community, use the law for good, then you will just continue to climb to new heights. So I'm going to leave you 2 bits of wisdom or lessons learned, whatever you want to call them, and they're very profound. It's simply, I want you to be a good lawyer, and I want you to be a good human being. Now, one would think those go together, but there are a lot of people out there that think lawyers aren't human beings. And it's your job to prove them wrong. So I sat in your seat, like I said. This is the good lawyer part. I sat in your seat 22 years ago. I did not immediately practice law. I immediately got deployed with the National Guard to the Middle East. And I was in a place that was I was with the infantry unit. It was a violent, tough place. And I came home a year and a half later. I have to stop talking about this or I'll cry. We want to get through the speech. I came back a year and a half later and I didn't remember anything about law school. I didn't remember anything about the law. I locked myself in my house for 6 weeks, took the bar study course, and somehow passed. I joined a firm that was, on one hand, very helpful and generous and supportive in what they were doing, what the lawyers were doing there. But I wanted to grow in litigation practice, and they didn't do litigation. So they said, sure, as long as you meet your obligations to our clients, then you can grow your practice. So you've probably had professors who've told you, don't go out on your own and try things as a brand new lawyer without mentorship. You should listen to them. Because when it came to the litigation half of what I was doing, I was on my own. And I learned these lessons, but I learned them the hard way. I had 2 years of getting my butt kicked by really good lawyers. So they were my mentors. Well, that's not the best kind of mentorship relationship you want. When opposing counsel reveals to you some obscure part of the rules that you didn't know was there, but you should have. So I was frustrated, and I changed my entire approach to what I was doing. I developed a methodology of preparation that was really extensive and really creative. And anyone who knows anything about litigation knows this up front. I didn't know this, I had to learn it. Is you have to start with the realistic idea of what is your remedy and plan your case backward from there, and then think of all the twists and turns it may take. And a lot of that is you have to manage your client. You've got to convince your client, listen, this lawsuit is not going to give us another moon landing, okay? Let's be realistic in our expectations. So the tide turned about 2 years in. I had really prepared for a particular case, particular hearing, and a lot of that preparation, by the way, was on my dime. I didn't charge my client for educating me in things I should have known. I went into this hearing. An issue came up that I had expected to come up. I had prepared for it. I'd filed something before the hearing actually to address this. I had a couple witnesses ready in case it went a certain way. To my surprise, opposing counsel had not prepared for this issue. And this was a lawyer who'd been a lawyer for 15 years. And I was really surprised by that. And so the judge kind of said, well, what are we going to do here? And the lawyer tried to punt. Well, judge, this is unforeseen. Why don't we brief this? We'll have another hearing in 3 months. And I'm thinking, well, we really shouldn't do that. So he asked me, and I said, well, gosh, I thought that's what we were doing today. I thought that's what this hearing was about. Hey, gee, judge, I'm surprised. I don't know why Mr. Smith or whatever his name was. And I put on my witnesses, and we got through it to our benefit. That's not the last time that happened. I have found so many different occasions throughout my law career where lawyers weren't ready. They hadn't anticipated and thought through and done the hard work at home before they showed up at court. And that population of lawyers, it was brand new lawyers who didn't know any better, like had happened to me. A lot of them were lawyers who'd been practicing over 10 years, and they'd gotten complacent. They had been successful, they had worked hard, they had been mentored, they had really done, maybe even earned a good reputation, then they coasted. And when that happens, they're not earning their clients' money, they're not earning their clients' trust, they're not earning the respect of other lawyers and judges, and that really matters. So that's my hope for you as lawyers. Start off in a team that's going to help you and mentor you. Start off in a team that's committed to the ethical practice of law, and a team that believes that every day we need to get better. and a team that helps you influence the team and mentor others that come in after you. If you find yourself in a team like that, stay there, because you will grow and you'll get better personally, and you will help a lot of other people. If you find you're not in that team, guess what? A lot of people that have done this profession have moved to a different job in a different firm. That's not a mark of failure. If you're moving every year, you're probably the problem. But if you're moving because you make those decisions, realize I need to be in an environment that mentors me, I need to be in an ethical environment, I need to do this thing that I really care about, that's probably a good decision to make. And if you have to make that decision in 2 to 5 years, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's this other waypoint that happens in your career at the 8 to 12 year mark. And I've seen this over and over again. The one example is the one I just gave you. The lawyer who'd been there 15 years, and he'd been brilliant for the first 8 years, and then he started coasting. I've also seen folks who reach that point and they realize, I don't want to practice law. I want to do something else. That's not a sign of failure if that's in fact, if you're going into the right opportunity. I have several classmates that are bankers, that one of them is a CEO of a corporation. They do other things. Their law career and their law education has helped them be more successful. But there was a fork in the road and they picked one. Don't be afraid of those changes. But the one that worries me is the one where lawyers burn out, where they burn out at the decade mark because of either they were in an environment that didn't nurture them, or they were trying to change the world all by themselves and they simply ran out of gas, or they were carrying some personal baggage that eventually consumed them. And that group of lawyers, they may have been caught by surprise when that happened to them, but the people around them were not caught by surprise. And so the question is, did they have people in their life that saw those warning signs and helped them and tried to intervene and cared for them enough to have the hard conversation? So you will see some of your friends and colleagues, you'll see those warning signs. The act of care, the act of friendship is to have that conversation, show that love, show that care before they hit the red line and blow up. And if you are someone who is carrying that burden, that's what I want to talk about now, the human being part of being a lawyer, which is much more important. It's much more important to be a good human being than being a good lawyer. We may measure being a good lawyer with wins and losses or amount of money earned. That's not really the measurement. The measurement is, number one, how you grow yourself. You're not competing against opposing counsel. That's not your measuring stick. Although often I learn from them, and I see really good lawyers, and I'm like, oh, I want to do better like they do. Your measurement is the potential within you. Am I the best that I can be? Not just the best skill-wise, but the best in your heart. Because you're entering a profession of conflict, a constant conflict, tiresome conflict. And it gets old. And that's what'll wear down the human being inside of you. So let me tell you a story about that. I was a third-year law student here, and I had a classmate that I wasn't close friends with, but they were in my cubicle. Do you guys still have cubicles? Okay, so they're in my cubicle, so you can't avoid them. You're there, you see them every day. And we knew each other fairly well. At one day I noticed he's not at school. Okay, well, something's going on. Well, the second day, he's not at school. And the third day, he's not at school. Well, you can't keep that up very long in law school and you're in trouble. So I go looking for him because I ask other classmates, no one knows what's going on with him. So I go looking for him. I'm a great detective, so I go to his house, and that's where he was. Initially, I didn't know that because he had the car in the driveway, but the lights are off, all the blinds are drawn, the curtains are drawn. I'm banging on the door, no one answers. Yelling, no one answers. I was singing karaoke, didn't sing along. So I walked around this little house, and I'm thinking, where is this guy? And I happen to look away from the house. I'm kind of staring off at the neighbor, and I glance back, and I see him peeking outside the window through the little curtain. And then when he sees me, he pulls back and closes the curtain. So I go to the door and I'm banging. I'm like, I know you're in there. I saw you at the window. Come out and talk. And he opens the door about 4 inches. And out comes this smell of pizza, beer, and body odor. Any of you familiar with that? He'd been in there a while. And so I said, well, what's going on? You got to come back to school. And I'm trying to say, I'm here to help. I'm here to whatever. He didn't want to talk, but he eventually did come back to school and got back on track. And so we're headed now into the end of 3rd year, and we're on the verge of graduating. And he'd had a kind of a binge up and down habit of living. So I love the end of the semester. Like finals week and dead week is like the favorite thing that I can possibly do. I love it. It's just like this challenge that it's all on the line, sink or swim, fail, get kicked out, disgraced if you don't do it. So I'm just like jazzed up. So I had been up late finishing a paper, and I show up in our cubicle. I'm going to turn it in, and then I had an exam that afternoon, so I'm going to study for a few hours. And I'm coming in, and I'm bebopping and whistling and singing, and just like, oh, what a wonderful spring day, isn't it great? And my classmate's there, and I don't know, for some reason it irritated him, and he bangs his fist on the table, and he says, what is the matter with you? And I said, well, I don't know what you mean. And I said, I just love this time of year and what we're doing, don't you? And he says, no, I hate it, and the stress is getting to me, I can't sleep, I can't whatever. And I said, well, what's going on? And so he proceeds to like kind of pour out his travails on me. He says, no matter what I do, I feel like I can't be good enough. I have quit drinking, I've quit smoking, I've quit sleeping around, and he wasn't that attractive. I don't know. I think that would, I don't know how much quitting it was involved in that one. And he says, I just can't be happy. I just wish I could be content and be happy. And then he turns to me and he says, what's your secret? Why are you so happy all the time? Okay, well, being a lifelong Bible thumper that I am, I feel like heavens have opened up and this voice has said, welcome to paradise, and this is going to be my moment. So I spend about 2 minutes candidly sharing my faith with him, and I'm thinking, ripe apple plucked off the tree, right? And in the terms of recruiting people to God's army. And so I finish. I pause and look at him, like, your turn. And he's silent for a few seconds, and then he says, Corey, I appreciate you as a classmate, as a friend, as a scholar, thank you for your friendship and your support. But frankly, I'm not into this whole, woe is me, I'm not good enough, Protestant, I need Jesus crap. So I'm like, okay, we're having an honest dialogue, and I kind of laugh, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm here if you need me, and then off we go. And I honestly, we graduated 2 weeks later. I've gone on with my life, he's gone off with his life. Well, the problem is the problem that he was carrying has gone with him. Like, he's kind of kept tabs on him, and he's moved from job to job and place to place. So that's just my view. Your view may be completely different. But the issue is our journey as a human being. Whatever we do will define the limits of what we can accomplish. And if we are carrying a heavy load of pain or bitterness or addiction with us, it will define the limit of what you can accomplish. And that's my goal, and my lesson learned from my life. My wish for you is engage with others who care for you, family, friends, counselors, whatever it may be, to unload that burden, because that burden will weigh upon you. And it's going to get worse, because you are going into a profession where you will meet a lot of people with a lot of problems. And this is the weird thing about being a lawyer. The lawyer is also a counselor. You will many times be helping people, not with just their legal problem, but their human problems. So there's this famous, there's a Greek poet named Aeschylus, and Like he wrote Prometheus Bound, wrote some other plays. And I pulled this quote of his from the play Agamemnon. He who learns must suffer. And even in our sleep, pain that cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart. And in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom to us by the awful grace of God. So I first heard that when I watched Bobby Kennedy's announcement to the crowd in 1968 that Martin Luther King was killed. He quoted that because he had struggled with grief from the loss of his brother John, his older brother, and that family went through a lot, and he personally was an amazing, amazing leader and a man who had grief as a constant companion. So I had a classmate who committed suicide. We dedicated a tree to him out front of the law school, Jim Hill, and I read that at his memorial. And if you care, if you love, if you strive, if you give, you will have a broken heart. That's a necessary part of being human. The question is, what do you do with that broken heart? How do you heal? And how do you help others to heal? So one of my last things I did as a county attorney before I went on the court is I was dealing with a family that was going through all kinds of problems. The father, we ended up charging him with physical abuse on his 17-year-old daughter. In a case like that, as you get to know the people, you realize their problems are pretty deep and varied and complicated. And as we got to know this family, we got a point where we had a legal plan to finish the case. But myself and my victim advocate were meeting with this girl and her mother, and then the mother asked to be excused, so we're just talking to the girl. She's 17 years old. She's very bitter, very angry at both parents, justifiably so. They were a mess, and they had been carrying all these problems, unresolved problems, and they were now kind of expecting their kids to be responsible for them, and it was a mess. Well, I was talking to her as we got through the case. I was talking to her about, listen, you can't go into your adult life carrying this bitterness and unforgiveness toward your parents. Not because you need to whitewash and absolve them, but because it will now affect every relationship you have as an adult. It will affect your view of love. It will affect your view of how you raise your children. You must surrender yourself to the healing process. So I showed her a movie, a great example of Eastern philosophy, Kung Fu Panda 2. We really did. Kung Fu Panda 1 is good, but Kung Fu Panda 2 is really good. I'm sorry if I'm give it away to those of you who haven't seen it. The villain is some kind of bird. Maybe a peacock, stork, I don't know what he is. I mean, how believable is it that the bird's going to beat up the Kung Fu Panda to begin with? But at the end of the movie, there's a big showdown fight, and the bird is shooting these cannonballs at the Kung Fu Panda, Jack Black's character. And Jack Black has learned how to fling them back. And the bird is amazed by this, and he says, "How did you do this? How did you find inner peace at such a young age?" Because that's the story of that movie. Both the peacock and the panda had the same life experience. They were rejected. They were abandoned. They were hurt. They were misunderstood. They were betrayed. One of them responded with violence and vengeance and anger and tried to conquer his way towards some kind of peace. The other responded with eating a lot of those little amazing wontons, but also love, forgiveness, humility, and healing and understanding. That's our path to inner peace. We can fight our way through these problems and we'll never get there. Or we can surrender to love, forgiveness, humility, healing. As a lawyer, you will have that opportunity to have a broken heart. And that's my wish to you, is respond with that love, healing, forgiveness, and humility. And then even as you're working through those things for yourself, people will walk in your door that are facing a serious crisis. And whether you know it or not, you're going to be part of helping them solve their crisis. So that's my wish to you. Go live your life fully.
Thank you for those words, Chief Justice Swanson. It's now time for the big event. Each year, the students choose a professor to serve as reader. This year, Professor Constance Van Clay has that honor. I invite Professor Van Clay to come to the podium and Associate Deans Browdy and Cowie to come forward for the hooding. Professor King-Reese, as Marshal, will you lead the class of 2026 to the stage as their names are called. Commissioner Christian and I will be here to hand you your diploma and congratulate you.
Elise Auk Burke. With honors. Haley Lynn Barthuli. Matthew Bell with high honors. Brianna Belgard with a certificate in American Indian Law. Lila Bennett with certificates in American Indian Law and Natural Resources and Environmental Law. Andre Bittigary. Lori Blumenthal. Henry Bowers. Kelly Brady. Dalton Branson. McCall Burns. Linnea Cairns. John Tecumseh Carr. Grace Cassidy. Nicole Childers. Clint Connors.
This is his final test. He's trying
Shelby Copeland. Raina Cousins. Jack Cronin. Ty Cummins. William Dreesen. Gillian Ellison, with honors. Isabella Fossum. Allie Freeberg. McKenna French. Anthony Fry. Jesse Gomez. Sadie Giles, with certificates in American Indian Law and Natural Resources and Environmental Law. Hannah Green, with a certificate in Natural Resources and Environmental Law. Kathy Grott. Mike Gruber. Laura Gwatney is not able to attend today. Shamara Hardiman. Aaron Harder. Bergen Hawkins, with honors. Olivia Hess. Jamie Hill with high honors. Cole Hugert. Mary Melissa Jagelski Hagestad. With honors. Jamie Jansen is unable to attend. Garrett Jones. Alexis Karbowitz with honors. Madeline Key. Matthew Kennedy was unable to attend. Kamal Luckysik. Savannah Larson. Oscar Lamus Ariano. Jeb Leon. Sarah Leopard. Jordan Major with honors. Brianna Martin with high honors. Jacob Martino with a certificate in natural resources and environmental law. Taylor McBurney. Ryan McCarthy with honors.
All right, thank you.
Connor McCauley. Liam McCollum. Margaret McGuire. Sarah McNutt. Corey Melcher was unable to attend. John Milton. Clayton Moody. John Moorhead with honors. Candace Nice. Jacob Nicholson. Shane Olson. Gillian O'Neill. Tristan Page. Alan Palmer. Nicole Pearson. Taylor Powell. Marla Prothero with honors. Jared Randall. Anna Reilly. Fisher Richardson. Hannah Riley. Sarah Rollins. AJ Shirey with honors. Miranda Schur. Natalie Sermon with high honors. Addie Slanger with high honors. Reed Spiegel. Skylar Steele with honors. Dennis Stock. Hannah Naima Timms. Rachel Tillman with honors. Derek Van Leeuwen. David Vargas with honors. Kevin Wallace was unable to attend. Adam Weinzeffel. Savannah Withrow.
We're not quite done. Another very important part. It is an honor to welcome the Commissioner of Higher Education, Clayton Christian, to confer the degrees. Will the class of 2026 please rise? Commissioner Christian, on behalf of the faculty of the Alexander Blewett III School of Law at the University of Montana, I am pleased to present these candidates for the Juris Doctor.
Thank you, Dean Gagliardi. It's my pleasure to be here. I appreciate being able to participate in this ceremony. Graduates of 2026, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Montana University of the Board of Regents, and upon recommendation of the law faculty, I hereby confer Juris Doctorate degrees upon those of you who have successfully completed all of the requirements. Candidates or graduates at this point, if you would, please move your tassels from the right to the left, signifying your transition from student to graduate. Let us recognize these candidates. Congratulations.
I love this part about being dean because I'm the first one who gets to say to you now, congratulations to the graduates of the class of 2026. As you enter a profession that is immensely fulfilling and rewarding, I encourage you each day to express gratitude to the people who assist and support you in your quest to help clients and make a difference for others. Savor your journey in the law. Reflect on your accomplishments. Celebrate your victories. But most importantly, learn from every client you represent. Focus on your ideals and values. They will carry you through. In the words of Bart Giamatti, who is a great leader and philosopher, and who inspired many, you must know that idealism is not paralyzing but liberating, and that to strive for principles, even if the journey is never completed, is to tap a vast source of energy. The energy to commit to do your best in the precious, brief time each of us is blessed to have. I know each of you will do that. Again, congratulations. And as you leave the theater, please take time to celebrate with us at the law school for some refreshments. Congratulations on this grand achievement, and I look forward to visiting with each of you in the future. Please always come back to the law school and say hello to all of us.